In this video of JavaScript, we are going to deal with the error handling. Error handling is basically a very important concept in any scripting or programming language, because once you write a code and if it gets compiled or interpreted successfully, that means it is fine and now it's good to execute. But during the execution, anytime it may cause something which may result the error at the runtime, and those runtime errors are called exceptions. At the runtime, only the exceptions can be handled. For example, if you have any syntax or logical errors, we will not be able to handle such things. But if it is any runtime error or exceptions, that can be handled. How? We will use some keywords for that, like try, catch, finally, and throw. Each of these keywords has a different significance. For example, all the suspected code which I may think like it may cause some exception. So I will put all that suspicious code inside this try block. So if in case that gives you an exception, that can be handled by the catch block. But if it doesn't raise any error exception, so this catch will not be functioning. If I want manually to raise any exception, I can go for the throw keyword for that. And similarly, I have a finally keyword which will call its particular statements even though the exceptions are not handled. So rather than discussing here, now we can go on the systems and can start implementing the exception handling.
So here in the exception handling, I have created a very simple program here. So here, as you can see in the header, I have a script tag and I have created a function now also with the name myfunc. Now inside this, I have taken a variable a in which I have assigned a number, any random number, let's say 100, and after that I will start working the implementation. So basically, as I said, that whatever the statement will feel like that maybe it may cause an exception, I will put all that particular code in the try block. If there is an exception, then that particular exception will be handled by the catch, and after that you may add a finally block which will be executing for sure. So for example, if you are writing something like you are establishing a connection or maybe getting the data from some external machine, so in that particular case there may be some situation like due to some network issues, your communication or your execution is not happening properly. So the exception will occur, and if that occurs, the catch block will be in action. So doesn't matter even if the exception is there or not, this finally block basically executes every time. So for example, if you are establishing a connection with some external resource, so if you want to close the connection, you can do that inside the finally block, because if the communication is successful, it's okay. At the end, I would like to close the connection. If the connection is unsuccessful or maybe there's some problem while reading the data, even though I want to close the connection. So such things which you must do at the end of the communication or at the end of the any implementation, you'll have to put that inside the finally block. And now let's say what I have done here, since I just wanted to get an exception here, so what I did, I am just converting this a to the uppercase. But as we see, it is a number and number cannot be converted to the upper or lower case, so obviously I will get an exception. So let's execute this program first without the this exception line. So let's refresh it, and if I click here, so as per the program it will say value of variable a is 100. When I'll say okay, you see there is one more alert in the catch, but that error one is not executed, and then finally the control comes inside here. So finally block will always execute. Alright, now let's remove this comment, save the program and refresh the browser. So here you see the error message is there. Alright, because what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to convert the case of a number which is not possible. So let's say okay, and here you see finally block will always execute. So it doesn't matter whether there is an exception or not, the try catch, the try block will execute for sure. If inside the try block any statement is causing an exception, then catch, and after catch finally block will execute. If there is no exception, then after catch directly finally block will execute. If you are writing a finally block, it will execute for sure, but it is never compulsory to add the finally block while working with the exception handling or error handling in